War Report coming live every Tuesday at 7 with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. And the voice of NEW, Vince Perry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out SmackDowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by Tag Me a Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space. Now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
What? No, this is bullshit. Listen. For 583 days, you guys, how are you disrespecting him? I mean, come on. Like, seriously? Are we really starting with Cody?
2022 ends at WrestleMania, baby.
Wow. Disrespectful for 583 days. I mean, the disrespect.
I mean, you know, listen.
I mean, I don't understand. I honestly don't understand, like, what's your guys' problem? I mean, for 583 days, and you're going to kick the show off with fucking Cody? What the fuck is this? I'm done with this podcast, bro. This is the last one I'm going to be. We're going to... Oh.
I'm just kidding. We had to get you fired up for the WrestleMania edition of the War Report podcast, baby. The Tribal Chief.
That's it. Acknowledge him.
Boy, I asked out loud if we were going to have the bad guys standing tall 2 years in a row and let the crowd go home with a deflated fucking... And it happened. Oh, boy, did it happen. Once again, Roman Reigns proving that he's not the guy. He can't win a clean match. He cannot do it straight up against anybody.
Whoa, Vince.
Has to take shortcuts constantly. Calls himself the last needle.
If you saw first, Lesnar, when he went to lift him for the F5, he clearly hit him in the balls. You guys didn't see that. Like, he lifted him up, he hit him. It was Lesnar that started that.
Of course. Yeah, this is going to be fun.
You got to get your glasses checked, bro.
A whole nother year of Roman holding the title until fucking he beats The Rock, and then it's another year. And so we've got 2 more years until somebody beats him. Like, I just don't get it. I don't know where we're going. But we'll start. We can't start with the last match of the weekend. We have to start all the way back. We'll start with oh God. The problem with the WrestleMania being 2 nights.
It was so fucking long.
I can't even say let's go back to NXT and talk about that. There's no way. We can't talk about Supercard of Honor, Tony Khan's first Ring of Honor pay-per-view. Very briefly, the Briscoes and FTR might have had the match of the weekend. Great pay-per-view there for Ring of Honor. If you want to check out their new era, some pretty cool things happened on the show. Stand and Deliver. I think the most unexpected thing was that Braun Breaker didn't win the NXT title, but then they fixed it on Monday. So, like, why have the big WrestleMania special on a Saturday, Stand and Deliver, if you're just going to have your NXT title change hands on different I don't know. Anyway, let's just get right into night 1. I'll pull up the list on my thing here so we can keep track. Do we do pre-show? Was there a pre-show? I don't think there was, right? No, we opened up with the Usos defending their titles against Nakamura and Boogs. This was one that this was one of those matches I was looking forward to. And unfortunately,
I feel horrible for Boogs, man.
Yeah. 5 minutes into the match, a legit injury. Now, the weird thing, so there was a spot, and it looks like this is where it happened, where they were trying to do like a double Samoan drop where Boogs was going to pick up both Usos. And I'm sorry, Boogs, because I kind of jinxed you. I said you were going to curl both Usos last week, and instead they try and make you do the double Samoan drop. And when the second Uso was trying to get up, it seemed like his Boogs, one of his legs buckled. Was it ACL injury, quad injury, something like that? Bad stuff. As somebody who's had that injury, not fun.
No, it sucks. And, you know, it's one of those spots that watching it, you knew where it happened, but you didn't know if it was a work or if it was a shoot.
And see, here's the problem was, did you watch NXT Stand and Deliver?
I saw highlights.
Solo Sikoa, I think it was. One of the bigger guys tried to do a double Samoan drop on, I think it was on the Creed brothers. 1, 2. So they tried to get the second guy up and he couldn't. And long story short, they couldn't do the double Samoan drop. He like fell forward. And I was like, that's kind of weird. I've never seen the double Samoan drop go badly like that. And then it happened again later that day. So I'm like, is it a work? And then no, there's real medical crews coming down. And
yeah, I mean, it was, it
really
sucks.
I feel so bad because I don't know if the Usos were supposed to win or not, but it seemed like this was going to be, Nakamura is an older guy. He's in his 40s. This seemed to be like this was the showcase match for Boogs to try and get him over. Not that he wasn't already over, but like, to get that WrestleMania moment, you get this big Samoan drop on the tag team champions, whatever. It was going to be a nice thing. And just did not go the way anybody wanted it to go, man. That really, for a guy like that who was on such a hot streak here, the worst.
Yeah, it definitely sucks. And I have to give a shout out though to the commentary team, because the way they spun it really kept you thinking, well, maybe this is a work, because right away you hear, I think it was Corey Graves, and he goes, brilliant move by the Usos, adding more weight to make sure Boogs can't do the job or whatever. So it kind of worked out. It just sucks. The whole situation sucks.
Yeah, but I agree, man. It was good that the commentary tried to cover it up. Not cover up, but explain. Sometimes you don't just want to say, oh man, that guy fucked up and injured his leg. You've got to take it like people online calling it pulling a William Regal, where you explain some wrestling thing legitimately.
Regal, you know what though? But Boogs didn't fuck up.
No,
it's just one of those things. It's just his shit tore.
It was just, and first of all, doing that to one guy, not the easiest thing in the world. Doing it to two guys who are not small, like the Usos aren't small guys.
They got to be at least 230 a pop. So that's
right.
like what? That's
they're not skinny. It's
460
like
that he's trying to like have on his. Yeah, it's a lot.
He had to pick up two Samoans. That was like that's like two of those guys is at least one Umaga.
That's a literal Samoan drop.
Right. Yeah, it was going to be a literal Samoan drop. The Usos, I think, weigh 1.5 Umagas. I think that's the unit of measurement.
That's him like lifting old school Big Show.
It really would have been.
Yeah.
It would have been like a little person body slamming a pro wrestler.
Oh,
we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
That's a different match.
That is a whole different night. Moving on to our Who Gives a Shit championship match. Drew McIntyre defeated Happy Corbin to win the Who Gives a Shit title. There's no actual title on the line. I just had to give it a reason to be on the card. So they won the Who Gives a Shit championship was on the line. Congratulations, Bob. Drew McIntyre.
Yeah,
did you guys hear they cut Drew's entrance like short? I guess he was supposed to have a bunch of guys in kilts set up in the back and come out, and he was supposed to have this extravagant entrance, and they had to cut it due to time.
Do you think Triple H went long? Like, because we had that kind of Triple H retirement ceremony there.
Yeah. I don't know, but I didn't expect it, and it was awesome.
That long,
no, that was very. Listen, cut. I don't give a shit about guys in kilts if the exchange is you get Triple H out there formally retiring in front of everybody. That's the right call, 100%.
Yeah, I was very happy with that. I mean,
one thing I was upset about was that he didn't hit the "Are you ready?" I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
Well,
I was worried that Corbin was going to win because Moss had won that stupid Battle Royal shit. So I'm like, oh man, not this. And thankfully Drew won. But again, it's another one of those I don't give a shit matches.
And then Drew, did he have the sword out? He brought the sword out again, right?
He cut the ring ropes.
Yeah, he cut the ropes.
Yeah.
He sliced the ropes. Which kudos to the ring crew because they got that shit up and fixed up real quick.
Yeah, they did.
Wow.
They're very. If you've ever gone back in the day when they were doing either like a Velocity or a Sunday Night Heat taping before Raw, or like they would do a 205 Live before or after Raw, Oh, they moved at lightning pace to get that shit set up.
Yeah.
It was
It's like a
unbelievable.
NASCAR pit crew.
It really is like a pit crew. They're just everybody knows their job and they just go right in. It's very cool. Those
Quick,
guys,
super fast.
they got their shit together. I don't want to call this the surprise of the night because the kid's an athlete, but The Miz and Logan Paul beat the Mysterios by pinfall. And afterward, The Miz turned on Logan Paul because supposedly Logan Paul was contractually obligated to leave the match as a babyface.
Oh.
He had to write that into his contract that he had to leave the match as a babyface.
Is that something you just saying, or is that something true?
No, Dave Meltzer reported that the whole reason it happened was that Logan
Really?
didn't want to do it unless he could come out.
Really?
He was okay being a bad guy as long as at the end of it he came out as a
really to steal catchphrase from Miz. Really? Like, wow.
And yeah, so the whole, I don't know. I thought it was weird that those guys, like, usually the celebrities are in there to put over the talent, and I don't know. So Kat, who cannot make it today, unfortunately, called it. Miz and Logan win. Logan Paul came down to the ring with a $5 million Pokemon card on his neck on a chain.
Yeah, because that's going to make you likable.
I would have tried to snatch the shit out of that. Anyway, Logan Paul, surprisingly, although I shouldn't say, like I said, he is an athlete. I shouldn't be surprised. Did an okay job at being, like, I think he wrestles better than fucking Dominic does. Like, I hope that's not controversial, but I mean, Dominic is not exactly lighting the world on fire right now. Probably should have been in NXT.
I agree with that. Definitely agree with that.
But Logan Paul surprised, really, like, I saw him, like, lock up and do some other stuff. And like,
he surprised me a lot. I was very impressed with him. I wasn't expecting that much.
Oh, man. But it was just a weird thing where the Mysterios, I guess maybe there's a further story being told here, because then on Monday, we can kind of touch on the Monday stuff, because I don't know if, based on how long the show goes, I don't know if we're going to get to every single segment of every single whatever for over this weekend, including Raw. But the at the end of the weekend, which is Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, the Mysterios got beat down again by the debuting Veer. Veer came all over the Mysterios.
Wow.
We were waiting for Veer to come, and he finally came.
Wow.
And it happened to be all over the Mysterios. What did I say? Was there something grammatically incorrect about what I said?
just a tad bit.
So I'm wondering if this.
Thank God we're not a PG show.
That's a different video altogether.
I wonder. We've been talking about this Mysterios split for a while and the father versus son feud, and I wonder if losing to the Miz and Logan Paul, getting attacked by this new guy who just got promoted, all this other stuff, how does it? Maybe this leads to them figuring out that they've not succeeded as a tag team and go their separate ways or feud against each other or so. I don't know. But I guess this is old news. But to me, Dominic Mysterio, he's coming out with his dad, Rey Mysterio, who's one of the most notable masked wrestlers of all time. And Dominic doesn't have a mask.
Ooh, cat.
Yeah, so Dominic, back when Seth Rollins was like taking people's eyes out, why didn't it would have been much easier to like injure Dominic's face and then have him wear a mask because the mask protected his face? I don't know. I think the kid, he needs more than a mask, but I think the mask would help. He needs a lot of help to get where he needs to go.
You saw that meme that someone put up about Dominic dress looks like Cody's neck tattoo.
Yes, even though it wasn't.
That shit was funny.
Ray and Dominic's outfits were a reference to Eddie Guerrero and Art Barr when they tag teamed together in Mexico. That was the stars and stripes with the tassels on it was something that Eddie and Art Barr wore. But yes, it does look like funny. Cody's neck tattoo. Well, Cody's neck tattoo looks like a lot of things. It looks like a truck bumper sticker. First of all, like if you saw like a Make America Great bumper sticker and then a Cody's neck bumper sticker right next to each other on the back of a pickup truck. It would just they would seamlessly
Make
anyway.
Cody's neck great again.
Hey, listen, Cody's neck is now a CGI monstrosity every time he walks to the ring. The guy got exactly.
That's it. Oh yeah.
Oh my Lord. We'll get into that in a second. Potential match of the weekend coming up here. Bianca Belair beats Becky Lynch by pinfall to win the Raw Women's Championship.
Great match.
Definitely.
What else can you say? It was a great match.
Great match.
Much better than the other women's match. Sorry.
But and the other thing was they didn't fuck around with the finish. The finish was Bianca got clowned for 6 months and got made to look like an ass. And the resolution was she beat the bad guy at WrestleMania and won the title. Yeah. Imagine that, like the only time they've been able to do this in the last 10 years is this story. It's real simple shit. The bad guy does something to the good guy, and then the good guy eventually has to win. Like if Joffrey won Game of Thrones, everybody would hate it. Like he had to go, but he had to be the bad guy for a little while. Anyway, this was potentially, like I said, match of the weekend. Especially when you compare it to the other women's match. You're right, Eric. There's
people are.
I don't want to. It just is what it was, man. That there were 2 women's championship matches, and one was way better than the other, and had a better finish.
People are shitting on Ronda, but like Charlotte made a lot of mistakes though too.
Let me tell you something. For a WrestleMania, there were a lot of botches all around the entire 2 nights.
That's true.
Yeah.
With Vince having the biggest one, but we'll get to that.
Oh my god!
We gotta I don't know if we're gonna make it there, but
we're just gonna try and both. I mean, so
that's worse
Seth
than
Rollins
his first
comes
stunner.
out. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Worse than his first. Just as bad as Linda's, if not worse than Linda's. Cell of the Stunner. Seth Rollins comes out. Blah blah blah. Who's his mystery opponent gonna be? There's, sometimes as a wrestling fan and a conspiracy theorist, you hope things aren't as simple as they seem on the face of them. You would hope that Cody having contract disputes with AEW and doing all this stuff and being free, like you want to think that this is part of a larger, something's going on here, but it's not. It was just the guy left one job and went to another job, and everybody knew he was going to do it, and there really wasn't a surprise per se.
Yeah,
it was just confirmation of all the speculation that we heard.
Well, the surprise was that not only was he still the American Nightmare,
but he kept the music.
But that he kept the music that he 100%. Had over in
AEW. The gear. Yeah. This is what
a moment. What a great moment, though.
Can I just say something real weird here? After the show, Cody did a big interview talking about making his way back to WWE. He said he had a meeting with Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard. First of all, why would you even say Bruce Pritchard's there? He's so full of shit. Anything he says is probably the opposite. I wouldn't even listen to him. I would listen to Vince McMahon. But Cody goes, I want to take everything that I'm doing in AEW and bring it to WWE. No changes, the same music, the same everything, the same. I want to keep it all the same. And he says that Vince's response was, well, if it's not broken, so why are we going to try and fix it? The fucking guy just changed Pete Dunne's name to Butch. He wanted to shave Adam Cole's head. Oh my fucking God. Cody got booed out of every arena he was in for the last 18 months, and that gimmick still works? What the flying fuck? It doesn't make any sense. How are you going to shave Adam Cole's head, but keep everything about Cody Rhodes' AEW gimmick? It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right, 100%.
It just shows where, but that just tells me they thought there was, if it's not broke, don't fix it. They thought there was something wrong with Adam Cole. They thought there was something wrong with Pete Dunne that they needed to fix. They thought there was something wrong with Keith Lee that they needed to fix. But Cody, the guy who gets booed everywhere he goes, trying to be a babyface, that's working? That's working? I just don't get it. The match was great. I hate that every time Cody hits more than one crossroads, it's the same as like somebody hitting 3 F5s or 8 spears in the match. Like it just devalues the finisher. But the match,
I think overall, what it kind of boiled down to with Cody was at least if I'm Vince or whatever, I'm thinking, all right, when you mention Adam Cole, Keith Lee, and stuff like that, while those guys are, they're great. I'm a huge fan of both, actually. But when it comes to Cody was an EVP of AEW. It was a huge get for WWE to grab him and bring him aboard.
Right.
And I feel that they were going to entertain whatever. If he said, I want to come out with whatever the fuck his dog's name is, I'm pretty sure they probably would have accommodated it. If he wanted to come out with Brandy, they probably would have accommodated it. I feel it was just, they're in a bad position. They need name value, and someone, as much as we probably, shit on him here and there, Cody Rhodes is a name, a huge get for the E.
It is a good get, but here's what I want to put out there for you as somebody who's wearing a needle mover t-shirt. WWE champion Cody Rhodes. Has that sentence ever been said? Like, that's not even a thing. Like, he could have been AEW champion and specifically wrote storylines to prevent him from becoming champion. But he wants to go back to WWE to be the whole thing. It's like, it makes me think that every promo he talked about starting a revolution, I can never go back there. I'm going to break thrones. I'm going to talk shit about how they change people's names. Oh, but if they throw me enough money, I'm just going to fucking go back.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
And I get the special treatment of keeping all my shit, but you don't because you're a loser and I'm not. It's like,
no, I hear you.
It's just weird. But at the end of the day, are you familiar with what happened with the Green Bay Packers with Davante Adams? Davante Adams wanted out.
Yep.
They traded him to where he wanted to go, the Raiders, so he could play with his friend Derek Carr, so he could play. Davante wanted to play for the Raiders against. He loved the Raiders as a kid, and in exchange, the Packers got a bunch of first-round draft picks, a couple second-round draft picks, etc. Not that you're happy to lose the best wide receiver in the league, but you were compensated in the form of all these draft picks. And Davante got to go where he wanted to go and play where he wants to play. He's happy. Green Bay got their new guys. They're going to get their new guys in the draft. They're happy. This was probably the best way it could have gone for Cody, AEW, and WWE. Because Cody was, unless he wanted to turn heel, which he was refusing to do, he was not going to get over in AEW. AEW, now has to rely on these new guys. They brought in all these new guys, so now you've got TV time for him. And Cody gets to go back to apparently where he's always wanted to go back to, despite the last 6 years of everything he said. So now he gets to go back home and have this run and make money. Good. Like, it's good. It worked out for everybody because the AEW crowds were they were sick of him. And he wouldn't change. So now, because he didn't want to change, he just takes the same thing and goes somewhere else, which is fine. But I'm just saying it's like, it just worked. Like
JBL said it best, man. Controversy creates cash. The dude talked a lot of shit. He did all this shit. And at the end of the day, ruffled a lot of feathers, and people legit in WWE, they took notice. And, whatever, Cody is, like I said, name value, and
right.
Let's see how long this goes. Let's see how long. My thing is curious. Let's see how long these cheers actually go.
It's not just the cheers. Here's the thing. Cody's so good at that Cody promo and that Cody match. I saw that match with Seth Rollins when Cody wrestled Sammy Guevara like 2 months ago. Like, it's the same thing. The Tiger Driver, the multiple crossroads, the Cody cutter off the ropes. We get I know what a Cody match looks like. Not that I'm saying it was a bad match. It was a very good match, and I think Seth Rollins is good. I
would say between that one and the Bianca one, that's definitely those are the matches of the night.
Two. Yeah. Oh, absolutely, for sure. And of course, Cody gets the win, which tells me, if the last 2 WrestleManias are any indication, that your new number 1 contender is Seth Rollins, because every time he's lost a WrestleMania, he's been number 1 contender for the next pay-per-view.
Well.
Well, see, now here's the other thing, right? So we have
Kevin Owens is going to be a title contender now that he lost to a guy who hasn't wrestled in 19 years, which would realistically should get you fired. Now they're going to go, oh, okay, well, we trust him enough to put him in a title match. So he's expecting Rollins and Owens to both be competing for titles very soon.
Here's my thing. With Cody, he came back because he wants to be world champion. Right now, there's only one world champion, and it's Roman Reigns. Nobody's been able to beat Roman Reigns. So are we to believe that Cody's going to be the guy that can take down Roman Reigns? Like, it's not happening.
You got to put down that vape pen, my man.
I'm just saying.
But that's what I'm saying. If Cody really wanted to come back to be world champion, he didn't come back at a good time. They just unified the titles with a guy who hasn't been pinned in 2 years.
Right. So he's not going to be the one to end it all for him. So it's like, when is this going to happen? It's a good thing he signed a multi-year deal.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is like multi-year deal. I mean, it's not unless, well, how old is he now? I guess it doesn't matter. But Cody always said he was going to retire by 40. So, like, but who knows? I don't believe anything he says now. Any of his interviews that were supposedly not, kayfabe interviews.
I think he's 37.
Kayfabe interviews. So if he signed a multi-year deal and he's really retiring at 40, this is it. Maybe he just wanted to get his last, he took that Kevin Owens $3 to $5 million for 3 years deal, and he's set for the rest of his life. And if that's the case, that's wonderful. Go do what you want, but also like, don't pretend that you're a starving artist trying to start a revolution against a big corporation and rile all these people up and get them to believe that you're the face of a revolution, and then just turn tail when the money's too good. You know what I mean? It's like, it just seems like the ultimate, Ted D.
The ultimate heel thing to do. Cody's a heel. Ultimate heel.
But he's a baby face. That's the problem. He's supposed to be a baby face.
The biggest hypocrite.
Yeah, serious. I mean, that's what they should lean into, him being the hypocrite. I took the money and ran. Ted DiBiase, the character, the $1 Million Man, was supposed to be an allegory for Vince McMahon. If Vince McMahon was going to be a pro wrestler, he would have been the $1 Million Man. And I'm just picturing him in his office after he's like, I've got $1 billion. I can do whatever I want. I'm going to, I need a new toy, and Cody's my new toy. I'm going to pay him a bunch of money, and I'm going to watch his eyes spin around to the back of his head with how much money I'm going to offer him. And then he's mine. And then he pushes a big button, and like fake dollar bills with Vince's face fall from the ceiling, and a bunch of green lights start blinking, and you just hear, everybody's got a price. And Vince McMahon's just sitting, eating a Slim Jim at his desk. Like, I got another
and that music's
one.
in the background playing the entire time. I love it.
Right, yeah.
And then the stage collapses on
and somebody down the hall is like, what the hell is going on? Triple H walks by. He's like, he must have signed Cody. And he just keeps walking. Like, could you imagine the office that you work in with Vince McMahon? I don't know. I would have anxiety walking around. I feel like he'd try and like single leg takedown you in the hallway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those two matches, Belair Lynch and Cody Rollins, are probably the matches of the night. Charlotte and Ronda.
There was a lot with that one.
There was a lot that and the one kick to the head pinfall finish. Like, I understand.
I didn't get that finish at all. I did not understand it. I mean,
yeah, no, I don't. I just.
I
Again,
think,
go ahead, Eric.
I didn't think Charlotte was going to win. That's the
Well,
the
no,
other
it's
surprise to me.
WrestleMania. At WrestleMania, that's supposed to be the end of the story. It's supposed to be where the underdog babyface crawls back from adversity and wins on the biggest stage of them all. Unless you're related to a Flair or a Samoan, and then all of that shit goes out the window. But anyway, yeah, I just think there was a lot up with that match. Like, there was just, it wasn't, it almost felt like two people who don't have very good chemistry, physical chemistry, doing a match. Like, it's not, there are some guys who, when you put them in the ring together, they're going to have a good match. Like when Dean Ambrose and Seth
Edge and AJ Styles.
Right, Edge and AJ Styles. You just know certain combinations are going to mesh. I never, even the last time Ronda was around, I never saw her and Charlotte competing against each other as the big money, because I didn't think it was going to be a good match back then.
No.
I always thought the money was Becky against Ronda, and Becky's more, Becky's more of a brawler. You know what I mean? Like she still does wrestling. What I mean is she can do different stuff. Charlotte is very much in. Charlotte can do what Charlotte can do. Becky just happens to do a little bit more.
Yeah,
and that's why
100%.
Yeah, I just thought it was a little bit better when it was just the idea was just Becky against Ronda. That was a cool match, and I think next year in Hollywood we're going back to that for sure. I think that's inevitable.
Yeah, unless they throw some other women in the match also and do something different.
That's true. And then
with the main event, I think after this was the Austin and Kevin Owens show, right?
Is the So
at the 3 hour and 16 mark, by the way.
That's awesome.
Which is awesome.
If I didn't drink too many broken skulls that night, I would have had them right here in Clash. But I had a lot of fun.
Listen, the fact that it's been 19 years and that he went 14 minutes.
That surprised me too.
Right? 100%. Like, I mean, it was so great to see him back in his element, doing his thing, and the beer bash was great, and just everything about it was great. The fucking going back and getting the quad
Owens' ass and always asking for another beer, getting it tall. It was just amazing. Every time, just cracking open another beer while whipping that ass.
Oh, it was so funny.
I have the sneakiest of suspicions that either Austin worked something into his deal or the company that puts out Broken Skull for him worked out some kind of sponsorship, because I noticed sometimes when Corey was saying,
he plugged the shit out of it.
Broken Skull IPA brought to you by whatever.
I turned it into a drinking game at the house because every time he said it, I think like a good 15 times. I kept on chugging.
If you if the game was that and the amount of times they said Seth freaking Rollins, I would be shocked that you even made it to the fucking main event.
Oh, I know. I was surprised.
Time, but Seth freaking Rollins is the new It's Boss time.
Stacy's eyes started to twitch. She's like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?" I was like, "I don't even know what to say." Like,
did you show her why I sent you in the chat? Because I texted you it.
Yeah.
It would have like that would be like constantly calling somebody the road dog Jesse James and not calling him he. Not calling him him, not calling him Jesse, not calling him the road dog, not calling him Mr. James, whatever. Like, you have to say the road dog Jesse James. That's just reminds me of you're writing sentences.
It's annoying.
In school. Remember in school you'd have to write the same sentence just a little differently. Seth freaking Rollins went to the kitchen. Seth freaking Rollins gave the mouse a cookie. You know what I mean? You had to like write the same thing at the beginning and like change the verbs. It just like dude, like switch it up a little bit. Do they call him the freaking one? That seems like something
the freaky one.
The freaky one. Yeah, the freaky one would be such. I don't know. I'm trying to help here to switch it up. But yeah, the main event. Listen, Stone Cold, little older, little grayer, blew up a little. He got tired. He's an old guy. You get tired, but
he's 57 years old, of course.
But that's the thing. He didn't. He didn't go out there and like the speculation was he got in shape and said he would only do this if he believed he could do it the best possible. And for a 67-year-old guy or whatever, that's great. He did a great job. And like when he took that Irish whip into the barricade on the outside, I was like, "Oh no, Steve, what is you doing?" I was like, you old SOB, you just gotta like.
Or the suplex to the outside. Like, there were a couple moments that I was like, oh, shit.
Yep. I was like, ooh, he ain't getting up.
But,
no.
But then you go, we've missed out on this for 19 years. 19 years we missed. Like, you could have come out and done one or two of these. Maybe in one, there were guys. What about Punk 2013? You're not telling me Stone Cold wouldn't have been in better shape. Well, maybe not with his neck. I don't know what medical stuff is going on. But like 2013, 2014 with Punk was like the last time these things really warmed up. And the rumors were he was going to go in and then they didn't do it. But came out first match. I mean, it started off as a segment. Kevin Owens challenged him to the match. Fucking referee ran out, rang the bell, and we had a match. I still think I just don't get, because they all the promos hyped it up like it was a match anyway. Why wasn't it a match from the beginning? Did he still maybe to that day? Do you think it was a game time day of decision that he was gonna, whether or not he felt good enough to wrestle a match?
It's very possible.
Yeah. It could be that. It could be, yeah. He probably was just like, let me see how I feel in the morning. Yeah. He got bad knees, right? This guy has, well, Kevin Owens touched on it. Bad knees, bad back, bad neck. I mean, the dude's got all this bad, but like you said, Kevin Owens is like, but you're fine today. Like, you look good right now, so let's go. And Owens opening his promos, it's amazing, bro. Just that kickoff, that whole thing. I didn't mind it too much because it got you amped, right? It did what they had to do. They came out, they talked shit.
Right.
Austin did his part.
They had to do all of their hype up promos, which you'd usually do on Raw or SmackDown, that day on WrestleMania Saturday. So they let it all out. And I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just, and that's the thing about this WrestleMania. I don't want to say it wasn't bad. There were a lot of good stuff. I would say, it's, overall for the weekend, they get like a C, which in terms, like when you're grading on the WWE curve, that's like an A-, because they don't really put out great stuff. So like, at least currently. So this being a C level show on average over the weekend with some bright spots that were A's and B's, but then having some other lower stuff. This was just, it was definitely a success for them, but it's just a matter of where we go from here. With a lot of this stuff, it's the follow-up.
If you take the best of both nights, that would have been a great WrestleMania then.
That's the problem. We got a lot. We don't have much time, but I do want to get this part in. The whole thing they were saying about WrestleMania and splitting up into 2 nights was that it was going to allow them to have shorter events both nights, but you also, you get more matches or you get the same amount of matches split between 2 nights, or maybe you get 1 or 2 more matches when they split it up. These shows went just as long as the regular fucking WrestleManias did. Like they weren't any shorter. Was Sunday night really that much shorter?
No, Sunday night went longer
than usual. So the whole 2-night thing, I get it. They could only sell 100,000 tickets. And if they sold 70,000 each night, they sold 140,000 tickets, which is 40,000 more tickets than they would have sold. And they got an extra streaming event on Peacock, which I'm sure they've got obligations to Peacock. I understand all reasons that they do it. I just don't like it. I hate it. I just WrestleMania to me is a 1 night. It's like the Super Bowl. Why are we gonna have 2 nights? We're gonna play the first half on Saturday. And
I think
you're right.
People would stop.
No, you're right.
Football.
No, I'm saying wait. I prefer the other method. I think the last show they had when it was 1 night. I think they started the kickoff early as shit, like around 5 o'clock. I want to say
it was New York. We were all
and then they went all the way. Yeah, and they went. It still went from like 5 until like 11. So it was still a long show. But I prefer it that way. I guess if you're gonna, that way you can start the main card whenever, like 7 to 11. Then it is what it is.
That show, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong. We got out of the arena sometime near 1 a.m.
Oh yeah, I didn't get out of the parking lot till 3 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
joke.
MetLife Stadium.
Yep,
that was the last one before the pandemic.
I don't know.
But I just think you say, okay, we're gonna have 8 WrestleMania matches or 9 or whatever. I think 8's the sweet spot for any wrestling show. That's just me. 7 or 8 matches is perfect. 8, anything over that's a little long.
Yeah.
They're all, from WrestleMania, they're title matches or they're big grudge matches that deserve a blow off. If you have a match that's worthy of WrestleMania, you get on WrestleMania. And if you don't, you don't. You get on the next pay-per-view.
I think that's what it is. I think there's too much of we need to accommodate this person and that person because everybody wants a chance to be at WrestleMania. Yeah. So you end up turning a show that should be 3, maybe 4 hours tops into like just craziness. And that's it. I don't know. And then hey, I'm not. This is not me talking shit on women. I don't want you guys to come across like that. But it's the same thing, same concept. They have how many they want to accommodate all the matches. So if they're gonna do a battle royal for the men, they're gonna do a battle royal for the women, and they're gonna do 2 women's title matches and then women's tag team championships. So when you're and then, again, I'm not talking shit on any of that. I'm all for, equality, and all that. But I feel that you should have the main the attractions, right? Like you had like Bianca, you had the Bianca versus Becky. That's awesome. You have the Charlotte versus Ronda, and stuff like that. And then you have like those big feud matches.
Yeah.
Have good 8 matches,
Right.
and that's it.
I agree.
7 and then 9, and they split it. They didn't even do 8 and 8. They did 7 on one night, 9 on another night. Oh, because technically Mr. McMahon's thing was listed as a match. I get it. Anyway, we'll get into night 2, Sunday night, WrestleMania Sunday. They're not calling them night 1 and 2. They're calling them WrestleMania Saturday and WrestleMania Sunday. That's their branding. RK Bro retained
Great
against the
match.
Street Profits and Alpha Academy. My picks were very good for Saturday and awful for Sunday. I did very badly because
I shit the bed both nights.
I thought, again, WrestleMania season, you get title changes and you get shit. Anyway. But yeah, good. I mean, these guys, what can you say? We've seen these 3 teams wrestle in so many combinations. We know that what they're capable of. Part of me as a old school wrestling fan who still thinks you've got to, make people want to see a match. Maybe you don't have as many rematches in the interim. You have 1 or 2 matches between these teams to set things up, and then you have promo segments. But I just feel like all these teams wrestled each other so much leading up to WrestleMania that it's like, oh yeah, well, we know it's going to be good, but it's just like they've done this dance a couple times. Not to say it wasn't a good match, which it was. Bobby Lashley, thank Christ, defeated Omos. Go ahead, Eric.
Oh, I was going to say notable was that after the tag match, what happened?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh,
they were gonna cheers. They were cheering to being at Mania, and then they invited Gable Stevens, and then Chad Gable took it away from there. And,
the Battle of the Gables.
Yeah,
I know, Gable versus Gable.
Yeah, are they gonna have remember when Booker T had to fight Big T for the rights to the letter T in WCW?
Oh my God,
they've got to have a Gable versus Gable winner keeps Gable match.
I do vaguely remember that too.
Or Bam Bam Gary
Vince,
Gordy
Vince,
and Bam
Vince.
Bam Bigelow doing Bam Bam.
Vince.
The loser had
Vince.
to drop it. Yo,
Shoosh.
I love that.
No, sorry.
Gable versus Gable for the rights to the name Gable. That's my
thank you.
prediction. Anyway.
That's stupid.
Bobby Lashley beats Omos by pinfall. Thank God. The weird thing, can we just talk about this since we're not going to get to Raw? You have MVP turn on a motherfucker the night after? Why? Again, this is the guy that told Cody Rhodes that his AEW gimmick worked, but Bobby Lashley and MVP as a pair doesn't work? What universe do we live in? Keep these guys together. Doesn't make any
I don't know. They
sense.
turned Lashley face, it seems, and they're going to keep MVP heel, which MVP heel is money. So, I mean, maybe that's why they're doing it.
I'll tell you exactly why they're doing it.
Because Omos sucks and he needs a fucking mouthpiece.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. This is the last ditch effort. If this does not work, Omos is gone. I'm telling you right now.
Omos is going to be wrestling Braun Strowman.
Featured
in
effort.
If MVP can't save him, it's over.
Yep, that's exactly what this is.
And hopefully when it doesn't work, they don't punish MVP because MVP, it's not MVP's fault that this fucking guy can't wrestle and can't cut a promo. And they train this. I assume that he went to the performance center and this is what came out. So,
Again, MVP's one of those dudes, man. I feel like he'll be straight regardless where he'll go. If he's featured Endeavor, he'll go to Impact, ROH, he'll go to AEW. He'll always have a job.
Yeah, because he even went to Japan. He went to Japan before. It was real good. Next one, Knoxville. See, this is one where my picks got all fucked up because, like I said, I always expect the celebrity to put over the talent in some way. So I thought Johnny Knoxville would be the perfect guy to do a big stunt and get himself blown up in an outhouse or something and lose the match.
I thought so too. Yep.
Turns out they had a different idea. They decided Jackass 4 was so much fun. They're just going to film the 5th Jackass movie right now at WrestleMania.
Hey, listen, it was well done though.
Exactly. I was about to say I was thoroughly entertaining
with
that
the
match. I
fucking
was just
hand coming out and fucking all
the
that.
debut of Mark Henry and Mae Young's baby
Yeah.
boy. Like
Mark Henry acknowledged it on
whatever you call it.
Twitter. Mark Henry goes, "I breed professional athletes" or something like that. Wow, Cat with some strong words here in the comments. Omos is the male Eva Marie. Damn.
I think he might be worse.
Damn.
Wow, Eric coming up with he might be worse. That's the first time I've heard you say something remotely nice about Eva Marie.
Yeah.
But Knoxville
Well, to her
had,
credit, she is hot.
well, yeah, okay, so there you go. That's the second nicest. Yeah. Knoxville had Chris Pontius, Party Boy, out there. He had fucking Wee Man out there. How many other was that the only two Jackass guys that got out there? Or were there more?
Yeah, he only had was it Wee Man and the Party Boy, yeah.
Yeah. Party
yeah.
Boy who
Which I saw enough of that, dude. That was
Wee Man with a
feels
body
like party
slam. Wee Man with a body slam was pretty impressive.
the Hogan Andre body slam said it's
I'm still mad they didn't like shoot Wee Man out of a cannon into Sami Zayn's nuts, but
a cannon, a slingshot, something.
or they should have tossed him instead of using the bowling ball. They should have took Wee Man and tossed him into the with like a hard hat.
With a helmet.
So what's his name?
But you know what? Knoxville's another one that did pull out some wrestling moves and took some decent bumps. Like,
you know, he was a wrestling fan when he was a kid. I mean,
well, I also expect Knoxville to take them bumps because
he flat out, he was on Howard Stern not too long ago, and he was telling Howard they were promoting that he was going to be at Mania, and Howard's kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, are you kidding? He goes, this is the greatest thing I've ever done. He goes, this is amazing. He goes, this is like every kid's dream, and I'm living it. He goes, and I'm taking it seriously, and I'm going and I'm training and I'm doing the right thing. He goes, I'm going to impress people. And he did. He impressed me.
He is a slapstick comedy guy from way back. He loves the old even like the old black and white films where they would do the stunts. One of his stunts was a direct reference to an old film where the front of the barn fell and the whole barn fell around him, except that he was standing through where the window was. That was the end of like Jackass 2, I want to say 2 or 3. And it was an homage to like old black and white films. So, like as a guy who does stunts for a living, Alex thought Wee Man was Hornswoggle.
That's awesome.
Just
That's awesome.
Let him. There's no reason to explain the difference between Hornswoggle and Wee Man to a 5 or 6 year old. Let him think that for a while.
Yeah.
That'll make watching the Jackass movies for him all the better. What Wee Man was? Imagine Hornswoggle and Jackass. Anyway,
let's add Brad Williams into that too.
Yeah, he's a stunt. He was a stunt guy. He does all of his movies for the most part involve some kind of big stunts. That Action Park movie. Bad Grandpa, whatever it was, he's always game for that stuff. So if you had to figure he was going to bring it, and he brought it. And, again, it's just weird. It's so weird to see all these wrestlers lose to celebrities and commentators. And like, you got to put the boys over at one point, right? I don't know.
AJ Edge.
Oh, no, the women's tag team match real quick. Naomi and Sasha did win, beating Carmella and Queen Zelina, Liv Morgan and Ray, Natalya and Shayna in a 10-minute match that, honestly, the fact that you skipped over it says a lot because it's one of those things that's like, is it even worth, like, it was there. This was one of those matches that we were talking about earlier, like, is it WrestleMania worthy? Does it need to be on the show? Like,
yeah.
These women's tag team titles have been treated so poorly that there's really not a lot of capital for them. But I get the capital is if Naomi and Sasha are going to have a good run with these belts and bring some meaning back to them.
Because Naomi and Sasha I agree with that. Stars. They should definitely.
Because they're two of the biggest stars in the women's division.
Yep.
Way bigger than Carmella and Zelina.
And you have to figure out, you have to find a way to get Sasha on the Mania card. So it was a good way to do it.
Yeah.
All
right, we got what's the next one after that match? Was that the Edge Styles one?
Yes, then it was Edge Styles.
Edge had one of the best entrances of the night.
Edge Taker.
It was so well done. It looks like this faction with Damian Priest is happening. Rhea Ripley is rumored to be next, and she already started a little thing with Liv on Raw.
the purple lights in the background, like the purple lights from Edge's entrance. So like they're teasing that for sure.
Yeah. So,
Which is fine.
but
New
I thought
ministry?
it was a great match. I was surprised that AJ didn't go over. He was my pick.
Yeah.
So I got that one wrong, but
Me
a
too.
great match. A great match. I mean, it really was.
What was the
great
finish?
Match.
Can you remind me what the finish was?
It was
Didn't Damian Priest come out?
Priest
well,
came out,
Damian
right?
Priest came out and
then-
just was standing there, so he was just a distraction. He didn't actually get involved.
Yeah.
And then AJ jumped to do the flying forearm, and he got
caught-
speared in
He got
midair,
speared, and that's it.
and that was how it ended.
All right, so not as egregious. I mean, still, it's an interference kind of. I guess not really interference. Distraction finish at WrestleMania. I don't know. We did
I
that.
would have actually preferred an interference, straight up interference, rather than that stupid like.
Because looking over,
Damian Priest is there. I better,
right. That throws you so much off your game. I mean, the guy's so much bigger than AJ. He could have hit him with
It's like
whatever
the
Falcon
Carmella
Arrow, whatever his
Asuka
move
match
is.
from a few years ago with the James Ellsworth thing,
Oh yeah.
where Asuka like hesitated for so long
Yeah.
that she,
But anyway, I good. We were saying that we were waiting for Edge and AJ Styles to have this match for a long time, probably since Edge came back at that one Rumble, and then AJ injured his arm. And if AJ hadn't injured his arm, we would have seen this match 2 years ago. Which I guess waiting for it is probably better, because if we got it 2 years ago, it would have been a cinematic match, or it would have been an empty arena match.
Did you see Brody King's tweet about it?
Oh, that was so funny. There was a one of the WWE accounts, or like WWE on Fox or WWE in England, somebody like that, put out a picture of Edge and Damian Priest in the ring with their black suits on, and they said, "Name this faction." And Brody King says, "When you order the House of Black on Wish.com."
Wow.
It's like,
I'm like, come on, they've been doing these dark type of factions forever in wrestling. It's not
But
new.
I think that's fun. I mean, hey, you know what? You sign away one of the EVPs and you're expecting to not have a couple barbs thrown your way. You got
Yeah.
This is a fucking wrestling war. We got to throw a couple of things back and forth.
Oh yeah.
But I wonder.
But then someone like Edge and Damian Priest could say, "Who in the blue hell is Brody King?"
Yes. Yeah. All right. So next match.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh. I'm about to say, that's it.
Tore the house down with his entrance.
Oh yeah. Pat McAfee is way more valuable to WWE than I think they might even realize. He's not just a former professional athlete in the NFL, now has one of the largest podcasts around, got $100 million deal from DraftKings for his podcast and his content. He's making money. So he just does this because he loves it. And honestly, to wind back the clock a little on Pat McAfee, for those of you who don't know, Pat McAfee trained with Rip Rogers to become a professional wrestler many, many, many years ago. I would say even before he was in the NFL. After his NFL career, one of the first things when McAfee bought this big warehouse to do all of his podcasting and videos from, one of the first things he bought was a pro wrestling ring so that he can continue his training. Pat McAfee is, if he wasn't a kicker, would have already been a pro wrestler. You know what I mean? Like, if he didn't have the career that he had, the path was to be a wrestler. And I think he would have been really good at it. Obviously.
He's already shown that he'd be very good at it.
And it's a matter of if they ever wanted to flip that switch and turn him from a commentator to a competitor, they could absolutely do it.
And not only that, we got him over Austin Theory.
Yep.
And then an impromptu match with Vince McMahon, which Vince won by throwing a football at him. Ultimately.
What was the timeline of the World's Worst Stunner? Was that after that? Was it after Vince McMahon won the impromptu match, or was it in the middle of the impromptu match?
Wait, say that again?
So when Vince took the bad stunner, was that in the middle of McAfee's match with Vince?
That
or
was
it
afterwards.
It was after. Okay.
Because they were both going after McAfee afterwards, and then Austin came out to be the hero, and then you got the confrontation, which was awesome. And then, Vince has always been known to take a horrible stunner, but this one tops them all. This was the worst stunner ever, but who cares? It's Vince. Even Austin knew it sucked. He was laughing, but nobody cared because it was just the two of them.
Right.
But it was a disaster. The stunner was absolutely fucking horrible.
But you know what?
You know what? For Vince's age, he still looks great. He still got in there, wrestled a little bit. I give him a lot of credit. But
yeah, we saw a bad stunner, but we also saw a great stunner. Austin Theory took an awesome stunner.
That's true. And you know what? So did McAfee.
Oh yeah, McAfee did a great job.
Who then continued to drink beer while he was on the ground out cold.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
So
I still can't
funny.
stand the fucker. That's just me.
That's it. What's the next match after that?
I will never understand. Well, listen, let's just jump right to the end because we got a few minutes.
Sheamus and Ridge Holland against the
Who
New
cares?
Day, who cares? It
Yeah,
doesn't matter. Like that was not a WrestleMania worthy match. It
was a squash match. Ridge Holland and Sheamus whooped Kofi and Xavier Woods in under 5 minutes. It was a squash match. You can move on. Next.
Yep, that's exactly. It was 3 minutes. No, wait, that was the Vince match. But you're right. That was
the Tribal Chief.
Was that the next one after that?
That was it. Winner take all.
He reigns supreme.
I can't say that I'm shocked that Roman won because that was my pick. I thought that he was going to win, but
yeah. You did say that. However, you also, if you go back 1 week, you did also have a bit of doubt, and I believe also I know Vince had doubt. Oh, yeah. I know Kat had doubt. The only person I believe that was with me was Eric, and 100%.
I did have doubt, but I did go.
No doubt.
You can even check
doubt.
You can even check my pick. I picked Roman, but my problem is I was looking forward to this match, even though we've seen it. This was a different feel. It was a great build. Yeah. I was excited, and I felt it was rushed, and the finish was garbage.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's Reigns really injured himself, or do you think that's just people
taking
a couple pictures out of context?
No, that looked pretty fucking legit.
I don't know. The question is, do we blame Vince for that? Because you said the match was rushed, and it was. They didn't have that much time to play with, and I don't know if it was because there was a match within a match, and then a celebration with Austin and the beer and the McAfee. All that was great.
All those timing problems were supposed to be solved by having 2 nights. Remember, like that was their whole excuse.
Yeah, 100%. They should have just cut the New Day Ridge Holland match, remove that to the kickoff, and they probably would have had another 5 minutes to play with because that was a squash match. But
I thought it was rushed. It was weird. I thought it was weird that people were saying that after it looked like Reigns got injured, that then it seemed like they were kind of scrambling to either get to
I
the
thought they
finish
just
that
called
planned,
an audible after that.
Right, or that they just went to a different finish. I honestly don't know. I'd have to go back and kind of watch that and see again, but this is unfortunate. If it is an injury, it's really unfortunate. I don't think they're going to take the title off him. You know what I mean? I mean, that's part of the story is that he's the head of the table. He holds the title. I feel like Heyman's going to have something worked out in his contract where he can't be stripped of the title even if he's injured.
Well, come on. How many times did they, not take the title off of Brock for
I don't think this is the type of injury. I'm no doctor, but I don't think this is going to be the type of injury where he's going to need more than a few weeks off. And if it's just a few weeks, you can just bring him out and cut promos and you're good.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Just like he did on Monday.
Injury.
That's it.
The only good part about Raw was Roman's promo.
Wait, the promo, people waited 3 hours to hear Roman Reigns speak, and all he said was, "See ya on SmackDown."
Yeah. I waited too. I turned it off after I saw that Ezekiel bullshit, and then I went straight.
We didn't even get to talk. Christ. Again, Vince McMahon says there's no problem with Cody Rhodes' character, and then changes Elias into Ezekiel, his clean.
Supposed to be his twin brother.
His identical twin brother.
So stupid. Ezekiel.
Christ.
Yeah,
they just ruined. They
turned it off, and I
they just ruined another one.
When Roman comes out.
Somebody online said that.
That's it. horrible.
Elias, once he's shaved and turned into Ezekiel, looks like Stu Pickles from the Rugrats.
He kind of does.
And now that ruined it for me. But like, yeah, just such a weird Raw after Mania had some weird decisions on it. I don't know. Veer came out and attacked the Mysterios. That didn't make any sense to me. You'd think if you're saying Veer is debuting, why wouldn't he have a match? I don't know. That's just weird shit like that. Ezekiel coming out.
They really veered in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I think listen. I think Veer should be known as the person who can dodge moves really well because he can veer out of the way. And he should do Randy Orton could go for the RKO, but he just goes like at a diagonal and veers.
I think he'd get over that way, honestly.
Veer to the left. Yeah, they could have the crowd say veer to the right, veer to the left. Yeah.
Cross. Everybody,
one hop this time.
Cha-cha this time.
So, wow.
Yeah, I guess
and on that note,
towards the top of the hour,
I know, right?
Holy shit.
Well,
WrestleMania happened.
Let's just all throw up our ones and acknowledge our tribal chief. That's it. We have to.
He won. He won WrestleMania. He won the main event. Guy is now the unified champion until him and Paul Heyman gift one of the titles to Cody Rhodes, and then he just becomes champion like Triple H did.
Yeah, let's see how long
you fucking imagine
unification lasts.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a true. We don't know. We don't know if it's a true unification or if the titles are still split. We'll see on SmackDown, according to Roman.
I guess we'll find out. Yeah,
that is it. WrestleMania happened. It was 2 nights. All 2 nights, plus all of the other events. There was so much wrestling over the weekend between the independent events, the NXT stuff, and WrestleMania. Now we can all decompress. That's it. We wait again for the Royal Rumble. We wait for January. It's March. We have to wait until January to again get on the roller coaster that is the road to WrestleMania, or should we say the roads to WrestleMania. Yeah, that's it for today, man. Shit, we not a lot of downtime, not a lot of filler on this show because we had so much to talk about. Appreciate you guys sticking with us. If you would please follow us on social media, we are at Tag Me a Date. That's at Tag Me a Date. No spaces. It's all one word. Most social media, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, Periscope. YouTube is also Tag Me a Date. You can type that in the search bar, hit subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified when we go live or when we upload a new video. We go live 6 p.m. On a weeknight on Eastern Time, Tuesday evenings. And twitch.tv/War Report is the Twitch channel if you want to subscribe to Twitch rather than YouTube. Or you can go to Periscope, and that's Tag Me a Date if you would rather the Periscope streams. And if you would prefer audio versions instead of the video streams, which again, most of our archive is up on YouTube under Tag Me a Date. If you prefer the audio version, please go on to your favorite podcast app. Google, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, SoundCloud, your podcast app of choice. All you have to do is look for the War Report or Tag Me a Date. It's going to come up. If you look for the War Report, there are 2 War Report podcasts. Please make sure that the icon or the graphic for the one you're subscribed to says Tag Me a Date on it. You'll see it. It's right there. It's going to say the tagmeadate.com presents or brought to you by Tag Me a Date, the War Report. That's us. Hit the deal. And when our show goes off around 7 p.m. Eastern Time, between 7 and 8 p.m., Ryan, who we haven't seen on the show in a little while, Ryan will pull the audio, upload it, and you'll get the audio uploaded the same night the podcast goes live. So, hey, if you want to take it in the car or you listen to it later, or you listen to it while you're doing laundry or whatever else, you can listen to the audio version instead of the video version. And that's it. Just remember to follow Tag Me a Date on social media, subscribe to all of our crap, and as Eddie says, he wants to acknowledge the head of the table. That is it for us at the War Report for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next time.